We showed you at the top of the hour the rally for Trayvon Martin, led today by Reverend Al Sharpton and Reverend Jesse Jackson. But it was Sharpton's remarks yesterday that got a local radio host speaking his mind. Sharpton told the Orlando Sentinel that he would call for civil disobedience if George Zimmerman isn't arrested. Well, that statement prompted radio host Todd Schnitt to call for action against Sharpton. Here's some of what he had to say. Take a listen.
I think Al Sharpton is getting more dangerous by the day. I think Al Sharpton could be responsible for inciting violence and riots, maybe further death, certainly property damage. I think Al Sharpton ought to be arrested. If this escalates into violence, I think Al Sharpton ought to be arrested. In fact, I think Al Sharpton should be removed from MSNBC. I want MSNBC to take the initiative and remove Al Sharpton from their airwaves. This is dangerous. This is a dangerous play that Al Sharpton is making. And I am livid. I am furious. If you live in Sanford, if you live in the Orlando area, you ought to be very concerned with this. But I'm not going to stop there. I don't care where you live. There have been demonstrations all over this country. There have been demonstrations all over the United States. We've had marches. We've had the hoodie events. I think Al Sharpton's words about calling for civil disobedience, I think that those words could be a catalyst for problems all over this country.
Well, Todd Schnitt joins me now to talk more about his comments. And Todd, you know, Sharpton actually stopped well short today of calling for civil disobedience. What do you make of him stepping back here?
At the podium today, though, in Sanford, he did say that everything's still on the table. So I kind of read that as a message that Al Sharpton has all of his arrows in the quiver and that everything still is on the table.
You mentioned dangerous. Specifically, what is it you find dangerous?
Well, I think his words of essentially calling for civil disobedience yesterday if Zimmerman was not arrested, I think that's a precursor to potential riots or violence. I want Al Sharpton to use his power for good instead of inciting. Why isn't Al Sharpton telling his followers, telling the nation, everyone just calm down? Wait until the investigation's complete. We now have the DOJ, the FBI, looking over the shoulder of the FDLE. We have a special prosecutor. The governor has put this task force together. It is now being properly investigated. Why are we trying to instigate during the investigation?
And as you know, there are also reports today that the Seminole County chapter of the NAACP has distanced itself from Sharpton. Do you think we'll see more of that?
Well, you know, there was also a former Texas NAACP leader who last week called Al Sharpton a race baiter and called him, I think the words were, a race hustler. And listen, the bottom line here with Al Sharpton is I think that he almost has his bags packed like an NTSB GO team investigator. He's waiting for the next event to happen so he can inject himself. He's an opportunist, and he's just waiting to really self-promote.
Yeah, clearly you feel he has crossed the line here. Where really is the line, do you think?
You know, the line is simple. Just everyone remain calm. Tell everyone just to wait for the investigation. It is now being properly investigated. And don't try to bring about potential problems, and even if it is civil disobedience. Now, civil disobedience could clearly escalate into something else, and that's what I'm concerned with.
Yeah, there was a big crowd at today's rally in Sanford and other rallies all around the state calling for truth and justice. But I was listening yesterday or the day before, and you were saying, you know, I don't really think that there's going to be a truth that we're going to find out about. Why not? Why won't we find the truth in this?
You know, it's a tough story. And do I wish Trayvon Martin were alive right now? Absolutely. It's a tragedy all the way around. We have two actors. We've got George Zimmerman and we have Trayvon Martin. And one of the actors is not available for the investigation. I don't think we'll ever actually know exactly what happened on that day back in February. We can just hope investigators can put the best case together and the best story together.
Well said, and as you mentioned, just a tragedy all the way around.
You know, if Al Sharpton is viewing this tape by any chance, I would just say, Al, you have the ability to use your power for good. I guess it's just not in his business model to try to keep people calm.
Well, Todd, we thank you for being with us this evening, and we'll be listening on the radio. Thank you very much, Todd, for being with us, and we'll be right back.